Welcome back to Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and in tonight's post-game stream, we're going to be breaking down game number 63 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, losing to the Boston Bruins here 4-1 tonight, moving to 36, 19, and 8 throughout the stream tonight. We'll break down what went into this loss, why the Leafs lost this way, why people are frustrated with the fact that this team continues to lose against the Boston Bruins in the regular season. Now 7 consecutive regular season losses. And not just that, this is the 4th straight this season, 0-4 against this Bruins team this year. So we'll break that all down. We'll be joined by Jay Rosehill here at some point throughout tonight's show to break down everything that went on, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm a little bit frustrated, but as a fan of this team, I feel like my temperature is going to be a little bit higher. Maybe Jay will come on here and calm things down for myself. For those of you in the chat, maybe he'll just continue to amp things up, but we will find out. So if that is something you guys are looking forward to, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you get notified every time I go live after games. The morning take guys go live, or tomorrow, for example, on the deadline, 3:30 p.m., you're going to want to see how they react to everything that goes on here on this channel. You're going to want to see the Leaf trades, what happened in the NHL, what didn't happen in the NHL. So make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are turned on. But I mean, all in all, for this Leafs team here tonight, there's going to be some frustrating things that we're going to get to. We will take some calls from other people as well. If you're watching this stream and you want to call in, you want to give in your thoughts, you want to give your thoughts about what happened in this game here tonight, about the way that this team has played so far against the Bruins this season, about whether or not you're upset with this team, upset with contracts, what they've done so far on the deadline, what they will do throughout the remainder of this deadline and into tomorrow. You can call in. You send me a message on Twitter, Instagram, whether you want to send it on Discord, whatever it is. I'll get you guys a link and you guys can call in to the show and give your thoughts as well. I would be happy to hear from some people and happy to hear about what people's thoughts are on this game tonight, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off with the way that this one went. Look, I know that there's some things going on amongst this team right now. You're dealing with some of the anxiety of the deadline. You're dealing with some of the travel. This is your 3rd game in 4 nights here. You dealt with an emotional one on Saturday against the Rangers. You deal with an emotional one, what should have been, I guess, an emotional one on Monday against the Bruins. An opportunity to start to close the gap. You were sitting there 6 points back. You had 2 games in hand on the Bruins. That's a 4-point game that you're looking at, and you blow it. You come out flat. You don't really have energy. You don't have the intensity there on Monday night. I talked about it in the stream, my first one here on this channel. I talked about it. I wasn't overly concerned because I just wanted to see how they were going to continue to respond. It had been a 10-game stretch where they went into that one 9-1, and you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling pretty good about the way that the team had played. You're seeing this attitude, this energy, this excitement, all of that start to build into them, where they have this, what Brad Treliving said he wanted to implement in the offseason, snarl. He added some snot into this team. He added a little bit of grit, where you start to see that showing out. You see these guys sticking up for each other. You see them in corner battles. You see them in front of the net. They're not afraid of anybody else out there. That's what it started to feel like. And to me, that started to put me in this direction of, this team is different than what we've seen of them before. This team has something else, these intangibles that are missing in the playoffs. And I still believe that they're in there. But my concern comes not with Bertuzzi and Domi and McCabe and Benoit. Those guys clearly have it. They showed yet again here tonight, they have it. They've all got that within them. They're not afraid of people. Even, yeah, Domi goes and jumps Marchand, but not just that, goes after Charlie Coyle at the end there. He's exchanged some whacks, and he's not afraid to stand in there and throw some bombs at the guy. Whether you want to call that a fight or not, he's not afraid to throw them. Bertuzzi absolutely feeds the guy that he goes up against in that fight. Like, absolutely throws some bombs in there. You could tell that he's had some pent-up frustration within him and just absolutely feeds him. I mean, looking around at some of those guys, it's great to have that. But now I'm starting to get back to the point of, is this just what it was before? You've got all these exterior pieces who actually have that character, have that built into them that makes it a playoff team, makes them a playoff built team, or a team with the playoff mindset where they're not afraid of people. And it's not about going and punching guys' heads in, but it's about, are you going to be involved in corner battles? Are you going to be involved in net front stuff? When a guy slashes you, are you going to be willing to slash him back and not just laugh and be scared shitless, where every team knows that going up against you, you're going to be a soft team to play against? Well, some of those guys are tough. Bertuzzi, Domi, we saw them do that here tonight. McCabe, Benoit, again, those guys that I had mentioned just previously there. The problem for me came with the guys like John Tavares, Austin Matthews, William Nylander, and Mitch Marner. Where the fuck were those guys here tonight? I know Mitch scores that goal. He gets fed on pretty much a breakaway opportunity, heads in, he makes a nice play, he scores a nice goal. I'll give him the credit for that. But I'm not saying these guys were piss poor the rest of the night. They were just, in my opinion, rather invisible. Like they just kind of blended in amongst the rest of the game. And for guys who are making 11, 11.5, 13.25 come next season, that's not good enough. That's just not good enough. And I know we're going to end up having the conversation, and all the spreadsheet boys are going to talk about, well, the bottom six wasn't good enough. You didn't get enough from your bottom six. And maybe that's going to be the case. But to me, ultimately, what's going to win them or lose them playoff series and give them opportunities to have success when it comes to the playoffs and go on runs and make it to conference finals and Stanley Cups is if the best players on your team are your best fucking players, and these guys, year after year after year in playoff series, have not been. They just have not been. And then over that 10-game stretch, we watched them be the best players. We watched everyone else continue to buy in and play this gritty, rough, tough, snotty game. And I started to think, okay, maybe we can get there. Maybe we can get to a point where we can watch these guys be offensive juggernauts, skate up and down the ice, take over games, dominate, put pucks in the back of the net, outscore the opposing team, and then the rest of the team is going to filter in. This game that I watched here tonight leaves me with a whole lot more concern than where I've been at before, because I watched those guys go out there, get pretty much shut down, and then the entire rest of the game was relied upon the bottom six. I don't care who the fuck is in your bottom six. If your best players that make that much money and eat up that much of the salary cap are not your best players, you are going to have a tough time beating anybody. Yeah, you're going to get a game or two where some of those guys can show up and all of a sudden dominate a game and take over, i.e. Nick Paul, Game 7, 2-goal hero, put on the cape game against the Maple Leafs. Yeah, those games happen. The point of that, though, is that Nick Paul was not the best player in that series. That, for Tampa, still relied upon their best players. Vasilevsky being one of the best, if not the best, goaltender in the NHL. Then you're going to look at Hedman, Stamkos, Point, Kucherov. Those guys were the best players in that series. Even if they had a game or two where they got shut down, for the majority of it, they were the best players. You're going to have some of those guys in the bottom six can step up at any given game, any given moment. It's going to happen. You're going to have a guy go hero mode and play a sick game. And I think this Leafs team is more set up for those bottom six guys to have that opportunity to do that. Or those exterior, tertiary, secondary, tertiary guys to kind of step up and have the hero game. Be the hero. It means shit all if your best players are fucking ghosts for the remainder of the series. And I watched this game against a team that is built for the playoffs, plays playoff style hockey, and I watched them manhandle the Maple Leafs, not necessarily from a physicality standpoint where they were just like lighting guys up or anything like that. Like it is there, but this team, they just could not do anything out there. I don't know if they're tired. I don't know if they're sick. I don't know what it is, but this game was not good enough here tonight. This game was not good enough for me. That was frustrating to watch from the top six perspective. Nylander had some moments where he was incredible. That's what we expect out of William Nylander. These way ups and way downs. You're watching that play where he skates across the blue line and loses the puck. Frederick goes down on a breakaway the other way. Joseph Woll, in my opinion, I don't know. He should have had that goal. I don't know how that thing just slides along the ice through his legs, but nonetheless, it does. There's a goal there's a goal for the Bruins that I thought should have been a save by Joseph Woll. But It starts with William Nylander at the blue line. You think that shit passes in the playoffs? You think that shit's going to be okay in Boston? In Boston, you go in there in game 1, game 2, because Boston's likely going to have home ice here now. You do that, that crowd is going nuts. Okay, now you get some games at home. You're going to go back there for 3 and 4. You go back to Boston for game 5. You're down early. You're down by 1. And you do that at the other team's offensive blue line. That is unacceptable. And I know people are going to sit here in the chat and talk about the fact that, oh yeah, it's the regular season, so it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Maybe they won't do this in the playoffs. This team does the same shit in the regular season as the playoffs every single year. It's the same thing every single year. So why should I or any of you people in the chat believe that it would be different with those top guys? I do strongly believe that the rest of the team, the other guys that have been brought in here by Tree Living, carry a different mentality, carry a different mindset. But you know who else carried a different mindset? Ryan O'Reilly, Jake McCabe, Noel Achari, Luke Shen. Those guys last year brought into this team, they carried a different mindset. And it didn't fucking matter. Yeah, they won a round, but they won one game in the second round there. Because when it came to it, the best players did not step up and were not the best players. You could only rely on those extra guys to bring in the character, the attitude, and the I don't want to say give a fuck, because obviously they do, but like the intensity that it takes to win series and go far in the playoffs. That's what frustrates me. That's what I just don't understand about what goes on in a game like this, where you just watch this happen, you watch these guys go about it, and it feels like it doesn't matter how good the other guys are or how many fights happen or how many guys cross-check people in the face. It doesn't matter, because if your best players are not your best players, you're not going to have a chance at going far. If they're not going to be out there and be in a dominant position, they're not going to go far. If you're watching right now and you haven't already, please hit that like button. Less than a quarter of the viewers currently have liked the stream. I appreciate you all for being in the chat, for firing away, for engaging. Thank you guys very much. But if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel, and turn on notifications. You guys know how it works. 50 likes, 100 likes, 150, 200, whatever you guys get to, smelling salts. Misery loves company. I tweeted that out. Misery loves company, and no one is more miserable than us as Leafs fans, based on the fact that this team has not won a Stanley Cup since '67, and with this Matthews era has won one playoff round in 8 years. People get fired up over that, including myself. A couple super chats here while you guys hit that like button, and then we will get to a special guest coming up. Quick super chats. Let's hit it. All right, first super chat there. Max Entius Decimus. Max, thank you for the super chat. Max says, past that 11.25 or Willie at 11.5. I mean, Max, that's an easy answer for me. Every single day of the week, that one's gonna be David Pastrnak. I don't know. It's even if you're gonna say like similar player or whatever, which I don't think so. I think Pasternak's better. It's just cheaper. I appreciate the super chat, but that's kind of where I'm at with that. Another super chat here. Derek Gamble with the super chat. Derek, I appreciate that. Derek says, who cares about this loss? Bert's fight was awesome. I'm looking forward to these fucks in the playoffs. Boston, Florida, bring it. All right. I appreciate that mentality. I'm not necessarily like too far away. It's more just some of the frustration of what goes on in some of these games where we see, as I kind of mentioned, a little bit of disappearance from guys that you'd expect to maybe be your best players. But yeah, I mean, it is a regular season game. More so the concern for me is showing what you've shown in years past, or feeling the way we do as fans like we felt in years past in some of these playoff rounds. Final super chat here before we get to our guest. CD Corn with the super chat. CD, thank you. CD usually gives us a temperature on the soup, how he's feeling. I don't know if you know who CD Corn is or if not, but he tells us the temperature of the soup after a game like this. And Not good, apparently. He's saying freezing cold soup. Spoon's not even breaking the surface. So that's tough. That's a tough temperature check there, CD. I do appreciate it, though. But thank you guys for watching here so far. Open this one up hot, and hopefully just continues to get better for us here tonight. As I don't know, you know what? I came out of the gates absolutely flying here. I was frustrated with kind of the results, and I think more than anything, how I felt coming away from this game put me back into that dark place as a fan of where I've been at, how they've performed against Boston in the past, how they performed against Florida in the playoffs. But to help us break it down here, welcome to Leafs Nation After Dark for the first time ever, Jay Rosehill. Jay, thanks for joining the show here tonight.
Zack, how are you? Good to be here, man.
I'm fired up. I mean, I came in here, I had a little bit of a opening rant to kind of start. It's not as much about thinking that this is the end of the world with this team, but I'm kind of curious to see where you're at, where my thought process was more so, it doesn't matter who you bring in as secondary and tertiary pieces. At the end of the day, you need Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares to be your performers, to be your big boys. I thought Nylander had a rough night tonight. He had some incredible shining moments, but he also had some what the fuck just happened moments, i.e. the Trent Frederick breakaway goal where, I mean, I saw even Nick tweeted out, I was sitting there, I'm like, this guy might not see the ice again. And I think lucky for him, they got a power play. So Keefe's probably sitting there being like, yeah, you gotta go. But I don't know. Am I way off base here to think that those guys kind of just didn't show up here tonight or they just weren't as impactful as they probably should have been or need to be to beat a team like Boston?
No, I don't think you're off base. I mean, there's a reason the money they make, the contracts they accumulate, and the name of the core four, that comes with something. It's not just the front page of the poster. It's not just being hung up on the lamp posts around the rink. It's a lot more than that. You're paying them for a reason, and it's to step up and to be a stud. And unfortunately for the Leafs, one of the things that we see more often than anyone would like to is those guys not being around when we need them, when the going gets tough, when we're against a very difficult opponent, when you need them to stand up and say, no, we're the Leafs and we have X, Y, and Z. Here we are. Watch what we do. Get on your heels. We're taking over now. When you want that to happen and when you need that to happen, they just don't seem to be there. And I share your frustration.
Well, quickly here too, before we continue on with this, people in the chat know who've watched me before. I explained to you what happened when I came on your show on Monday. Every 50 likes. I mean, it's basically just torture for people getting to do this to myself. But every 50 likes, I do smelling salts. We're at 70 here now on the stream. Rosie, I bought brand new smelling salts. I opened them up and activated them the other day. So like these things are potent. But we hit the 50 likes. So appreciate everyone who liked the stream here. So we'll get to those. And I was talking to the people at Leafs Nation.
Hit that. Get it in your brain. Yeah. Watch it. In 20 years, they'll be talking about the effects of smelling salts and how we didn't realize what the after effects was of this shit. It'll wake you up though, boy. Look at your eyes. Yeah,
I know. This stuff is strong. I forget every time, too, that I get a new bottle, how potent it is immediately. And then I just, it's a learning experience every time. But there we go.
Love it.
Thanks for hitting the like button. All right, back on to where this game was at tonight. You talked about it on Monday's show. I listened to you on there kind of before I come on and then after I left. The idea of Samsonov being the starter Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Thursday, and then maybe Wall being in net on Wednesday, it changed basically like ahead of game time. We saw Samsonov leave the ice or take the starter's net in the morning skate there. We saw Wall lead the team out Monday night onto the ice, which would indicate that he was going to be the starter. That threw me for a loop. I thought Samsonov was going to be the guy. I kind of came to the conclusion after the fact. I had heard some other people talk about it as well. Maybe they were giving Joseph Wall an opportunity or like a tryout here in a sense against the Bruins, a team that you're anticipating to play in the first round. What do you make of Joseph Woll's performance against the Bruins in these two games? Save percentage wise, hasn't been that great for him. I think there was a couple goals tonight he probably wants back, but in terms of the Leafs' decisions to, first of all, put him in net in these two games against the Bruins and then kind of how he played, where are you at with the Leafs goaltending right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, hindsight's 2020. It's easy to say now, but I mean, I think the record will show that I said it beforehand. I didn't understand. You got two goaltenders right now, and I understand that they might even have more eggs in the Joseph Woll basket right now because of potential pedigree. What he shows at his best. I'm all about Joseph Woll. But you got to understand that when a guy takes, especially at the position of goaltender, that much time off, how long, not how long it may take, but just the reps you may need to take in order to get to your best. I thought they would kind of ease him in slow. They give him one game with the Marlies and a game against the Arizona Coyotes. Okay, and then it's Boston, Boston. And if Samsonov was struggling, I get it. If Samsonov was just not there and you just, as much as you wanted to put your faith in Samsonov, you just couldn't do it, then I get it. But Sammy's hot. Sammy's playing well. Sammy has reinvigorated himself and possibly his career and certainly his season. And to me, he's the guy that you know is going. So he's the guy to me that you play against Boston at least for that first game, and then give Woll the Buffalo game. And then,
Yep.
you're probably not going to want to go Woll back to back, but it makes more sense to play Samsonov against the Bruins than Woll. And they give Woll the mighty Bruins twice on his return. Like, are you kidding me? I understand that if it works and you win the game, he's off to the races. But what a massive risk right now. You've put this kid back on back-to-back losses, the two, you could argue, biggest losses of the year against the opponent that everyone in Leafs Nation wants to win more than any other team by far, a team that you're probably going to face in the first round, a team that you have 12 years of demons against plus, and you throw this kid who's cold as hell, who doesn't have his timing, his angles, his confidence, anything at the NHL level, and he's young and he's inexperienced. Like, fuck, guys. How do you chuck him against Boston twice? I didn't understand it at the time. I didn't make too much noise about it because, all right, like, give this kid the crease, and if we win, especially if we win the last one, if we win tonight, that's kind of the hanging remembrance of the mini series against Boston. Okay, he's off to the races. Big risk though, and Samsonov is the clear, obvious, safer choice, and they don't do it. They give Samsonov Buffalo, and I mean, hindsight's 2020. We're looking back now. I'm going, was Woll terrible? No, but the margins are so thin, especially against Boston, and you need that 1 to 2 extra big saves against that team to get a win, no matter what. And he obviously, like, it's not his fault. I would hate to have him feel the pressure and feel like I lost confidence. Like, this kid hasn't even got back into the rhythm, and we're talking about back-to-back losses, like huge losses that everyone are talking about. The media's all over, Twitter's all over, Leafs Nation's all over, on this kid who's just trying to get his bearings again. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I didn't like it from the get-go, and I don't understand it. And I think Sammy was clearly the obvious choice. It's easy to say now, but like I said it before this series, and we didn't get the big saver two out of Joseph Woll when we needed it. He was okay. He was fine. But I mean, what a position to put a kid in. And now you're dealing with a guy who's probably scrambling mentally, who really wants redemption in some way, shape, or form. And now he's battling that when I don't think it was necessary to put him in that position at all.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I agree with you. I thought Samsonov should have and would go on Monday. I was kind of shocked to see that it was going to be Woll there. The only thing that I could kind of make out was, hey, maybe they're trying to figure out if this guy is going to be the guy in the playoffs who can play against the Bruins. But, like, that being said, you're in the regular season here. You've come off of a great win against the Rangers on Saturday night. Like, ride the guy who's hot. Why try to force something that's not there? What that doesn't need to be the case. I don't know. I was confused with it as well. I'm
Was it necessary to give this kid that test when he's
right.
had an AHL game in the Phoenix Coyotes as his litmus test to come back after? Do you remember what was it, December 8th or something? Do you
Yeah,
remember how long ago
7th.
that
Yeah,
was? Like two and a
yeah.
half weeks before Christmas. Do you know how long ago that was? At the caliber that you need to be at to play in the NHL against the Boston Bruins in this atmosphere, it's not even fair to ask that guy to take that test right now we're going to find out right now if you're our guy or not. It's not the time to do that. It was not necessary whatsoever. And if you want him to be your guy, which he could absolutely be your guy, I think you gave him the most unnecessarily difficult task when he wasn't prepped or ready for it. And now you're facing
Yeah.
the consequences of that. He's battling right now mentally, and his confidence is probably low, and he's probably desperate to get a win or some good things under his belt. But you've already put the weight of the world, which is the goaltender of the Toronto Maple Leafs, on this kid's shoulders unnecessarily against the biggest, baddest test that this team can field, because the Boston Bruins are absolutely owning the number of the Toronto Maple Leafs, not just this week, but for years in the past. And why you would subject your potential number one goalie to that when he's coming off of absolutely massive time off due to injury is beyond me.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that you're saying too that I agree with there is like if he came back 2 weeks earlier, then sure, this is an opportunity to give him the test where he's back, he's playing NHL hockey, he's into the rhythm of things. That makes sense. Like, why the fuck are you forcing this into this situation where you have to throw the guy in there with some limited AHL games under his belts, a limited NHL games where it's not the toughest competition? Like, this was just an unnecessary test for the guy. Something you did bring up there that I'm curious about. How does this play into the psyche of this Leafs team? Like, it's almost, I mean, you can't say it is, but it's almost a certainty that you're going to play Boston in the first round. You've now lost 7 consecutive games to this team. The last 2 games that you lost, I mean, the first 2 you lost in a shootout, you lost in overtime. These last 2, 4-1 both games. I was in the same page as you after the first one where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to hit the panic button here after Monday. We just saw them play 10 games of really good hockey. It happens. Sounds like illness is going through. Whatever. I was willing to kind of wipe that one. Still a little disappointed, but whatever. It is what it is. This game here tonight, now having lost 2 games to the Bruins in the same week, 4-1, you were 6 points back. You had 2 games in hand on Monday. Now that gap widens a little bit for Boston. You go into this one tonight, another opportunity. Now that gap continues to widen. Does this play a factor for this team at all going into the playoffs where you're like, we got to play this team that we just can't beat? Like, you go in there and you're just down on it already?
Of course it does. This is reality that we're facing. I mean, like you say, the rocks have been stacked up against you. There's 2 in a row gone, 7 straight. This team's in their head. And I mean, if you could find a way to squeak and peel a win off of that, I think you would lead with your best foot, which we talked about the goaltending. Like, why wouldn't you give yourself the best opportunity rather than give a kid a litmus test against the hardest test that any goaltender for this franchise could face at this point in the season? Give it to the kid who's just coming back trying to get his bearings. Is just I didn't understand it at the time, and I don't understand it now. But when you watch the Boston Bruins against the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, to me it looks like a veteran presence against the hot rookie. And by that I mean the Bruins just seem like they have their shit together. They know their system, they know who they are, they know what they do, and they know what works, and they are just dialed on getting that done. And the Leafs are kind of looking around fresh-faced, a little bit hoping that things go well, hoping that everyone's on their game, and the potential is there. They have the talent, they have the firepower. It's like that hot shot rookie who it's like there's lots of potential there, don't get me wrong, but they just don't, it's just a little bit too green. And like that veteran guy will take advantage of you and expose you in the little areas and the details throughout a game they will just capitalize on. And the Leafs are just standing there, especially when their big boys aren't firing on all cylinders. They're just standing there lost, while the big bad Bruins, they're just taking it to them wave after wave, and they get fucking smoked. And like you said, 7 games in a row, they've got their number. It looks to me like it is the veteran player against the fresh-faced rookie, and the little tricks of the trade that veteran understands and knows, and the experience that he's got wins in straight sets every time. And so far, the Leafs have no answer to it. It is definitely a hit to the psyche going into the playoffs when you know you're probably going to have to face this team. It's like, name another team that they would have less confidence against playing. You can't.
I gotta ask you, how is this acceptable? Like, how is this? I saw you talk about it the other day, and I mean, I put out a video about the lessons, and then I saw you talk about it after I put out the video, and I was like, okay, I understand your point on it. I'm not necessarily as concerned about the fact of whether they are or aren't learning lessons. I'm kind of just looking at Tavares being like, you grew up in the city, you know the team, you know the temperature of the city. Please stop using that word, at least, because people are losing their minds. That was my thought on it. But I'm watching this team, and you're talking about it's the veteran kind of dog walking the rookies here, like where these guys, they just know how to get it done on the other end. They know how to lead. They know how to go through the game. They know how to handle the ups and downs, the emotions, all of it. Even watching Marchand here tonight, like, yeah, okay, gets in that little scuffle with McCabe early on, takes it off the chin, stands up, goes at the Leafs bench, gets the emotions going, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how he's going to get his bench fired up in the exact right way. He's going to get the crowd into this. That's all fine. I admire what the Bruins do from that perspective. But I'm looking over at this Leafs team. How are you 8 years into being in the NHL, where you have been a playoff team for 8 consecutive seasons, and you haven't figured this out yet? Yeah, Nyes, rookie, I get that. McMahon, Holmberg, these guys come in. They haven't necessarily experienced some of that stuff as much. Joseph Wall, for sure, that's fine. But it's not them, Rosie, that I'm talking about here with this that makes me lose my mind. It's Nylander, Matthews, Marner, and even to Tavares to an extent, where I'm looking at these guys. They look like a deer in the headlights at points. And it's like, okay, yeah, in the first 3 to 4 years that you're in the league, I can understand that. At what point do we have to turn around and say, like, yeah, we just can't deal with this anymore? How are these guys 8 years in not learning these lessons? Like, how have they not figured this out or started to apply some of this shit? Because it's like, yeah, learn the lesson. That's fine. But to your point, it feels like yet again, we're sitting here as like, oh, they're this rookie team, like figuring it out. And I know you don't mean that literally, but like in that sense, I just don't get how we're still talking about that 8 years into these guys being here.
We're getting shown lessons over and over again. Are you learning the lessons or not is yet to be seen. And John Tavares is a robot with his media presence and with his interviews. And I mean, I don't even listen to his interviews because they are so cliche and it's just what John is. I think it's his personality, right? He's not going to go off the cuff and give you some outside the box insight that really makes you think about his perspective. He's going to give you the old bullshit answers, and he fell victim to it. Sometimes you can do that to a fault, and he fell victim to it by that. Like, learning fucking lessons. Like, how many lessons do you need to learn before you, like, you're not learning anything. You're getting fucking smoked and whipped like a dog, and that dog is not apparently learning any of the lessons that you're claiming you're learning. So it is frustrating, absolutely. And I agree with you, because my analogy with the veteran rookie thing, it's like you say, Marchand, these guys are going about their business analytically and professionally, and they are doing things that matter in a way that they know that works. They are in control the whole time. And the Maple Leafs, heads are spinning around. They're looking at each other, and they're all collectively, you can literally see it on their face, saying, are we gonna do this? Or I hope that it's just a bunch of hoping and wishing and wondering and waiting, and no one is stepping up and saying, I know what to do. I will show you the way. I am the leader of this team. I know what this thing is. Get on my fucking back, and I will lead the way, and I will cut a trench for this whole goddamn team behind me to follow in my wake, and we will run this team over. We will shut down their their MO on the game. We will shut down their game plan. We will run them on their heels. We will make them second guess every decision. We'll make them abandon their system. We will make their coach scramble. We will make them break up their lines and fiddle around with all their stuff. Not a chance. That's not what's happening here. And it's frustrating and disappointing because they've been here before. And Leafs fans just want to watch this team show up. You already got your lesson learned on Monday. Now you got a second chance at it. You're better on the road. You're away from home. Your record says that you're okay and comfortable in other people's barn just to go do your thing without the spotlight and blah, blah, blah. You'd think they would come out and just drop the hammer and say, get on board with me. And if you have four big boys leading the charge saying, get on board with me, it's pretty easy for everyone else to fall in line. But everyone's still sitting here after the game waiting, saying, was anyone going to take the reins of that game? Was there any leadership? Were our big boys going to be their big boys? Or was everyone just kind of looking at each other, hoping that someone else would do the goddamn job? And now it is squarely in their heads. It is an ugly feeling where this team, with all the pressure they already have and all the stuff they got to go through to try to be part of a team in this market that is struggling to always win for go back as long as you want, to now have this week on their plate. And it wasn't the biggest deal in the world that they lost to Boston, but the response when they get a second crack at it, you don't get second chances very often. And what they did with it was abysmal. And it's an ugly look. And like I said, this is the most likely team they're going to face in the playoffs. I don't think you could pick out of all the teams in the league an opponent that this team would less want to face, a team that's less suited to them, a team that they have less juju against. It's just, this team's got their number. They always have. I remember in 2013, it's just, this team's got their number. And at least if the effort and the intensity and the desire was there, especially from the big boys, you could say, whatever, you could pick apart your details on why it didn't go your way. But I am 100%, I'm 100% sitting here with an ugly taste in my mouth because of the way this week went and the effort against the Boston Bruins, who has every reason in the world to have that team the most fired up they've been all year, and it just absolutely wasn't the case.
Yeah, and I've talked about it, and whether people believe me or not, it's a different story. But if they lost these games to Boston and they had the effort and they played the right way, if that's the right way to put it, I probably would come here and not be as frustrated with how things went. It just felt like it was not there in either of the games. I saw Mike Johnson tweet about it during the game. There was a tweet that was put out about oh, these guys don't care. I don't think that's the case. They obviously care. It's more just the intensity lacks in these situations where us as fans, you sit there and it's it feels like that's the word. These guys don't care. We care. They don't care. But yeah, to your point about not wanting to play these guys, the one thing that is worrying me too is we take a lot of shit in Toronto for how quiet things are, and fair enough. I don't think that's a full statement about how quiet that arena is, but you talk about the fact that this team probably doesn't want to face them. This fan base is not going to want to go up against the Bruins in this first round either, and I'm concerned about nervous energy in that building game 3, game 4 when it comes to playing the Bruins at home here. So that's a concerning thing for me. Rosie, I've got a couple super chats for you here, very specific. People are asking you some questions, so I want to get to those. We do take super chats in the After Dark show. Again, I will never ask people to send money. I do appreciate when they do, but the chat kind of flies and gets a little bit reckless at times where I can't answer and read all the stuff that's going on. So if you have questions and you're I need this answered, I want this answered, whatever, the super chats, it is an easy way for me to get to some of those. So let's get to some of the super chats here. All right, first super chat here comes from Maxentius Decimus. This is a callback to the conversation that you had the other day, and so this one is going to go entirely to you, and I'll let you handle this one. Max said, the reason why I think people boo the Leafs is because year after year they have no-show big games, and we as fans have to deal with all the insults online. I saw you have the rant about it the other day. I don't disagree with you. I kind of am leaning a little bit somewhat in between you and Nick because you played for the team. So you have a much better perspective on it than I do. I did not play in the NHL very clearly, but at the same time, I get it where from Nick's perspective, I'm close to what he's saying there where it's like I've watched frustration year after year after year. What do you make of where Max is saying some of this frustration and the booing comes in because of disappointment that people in this city deal with year after year and the insults that they take from other fans online?
No, I mean, it is not lost on me what it's like to be a Maple Leafs fan. I totally understand it. I understand the fact that they are so passionate and they care so much, and there's so many of them, and it is a generational thing where your grandfather had season tickets and your first game and everything that goes into talking to any serious Leafs fan that follows the Maple Leafs religiously, you could say. I totally understand it. And to be let down over and over and over again, I understand the frustration. But where my point came from is that the margins are so slim, they're razor thin. And when you're on that team and you can go on like a 10 game heater where you're one of the hottest teams in the league and the barn's not even rocking. So and I understand that's the Bay Street people and the people whose companies have tickets and they're down getting fucking caviar and sushi and all that stuff. I totally get it. The platinum seats are empty I get it. But
Yeah.
you're on this 10 game heater, you barely hear about it, and then you drop one game and it's the boos and the boo you right out of your building. And the booing to me should be you have let us down, the game is over, the season is gone. You have left us out to hang. You are done. We're through. The writing is not just on the wall, but it's in stone. Boo you. Screw you. I wasted my year. You wasted the year. We're pissed. This is unacceptable. We won't stand for it. I 100% get it. But after a 10 game heater and they drop
I know.
one and you're booing them out of the goddamn rink, why do you think it's so hard for those guys to put forward? And it's not effort. You talked about, do they care?
Yeah.
They're a bunch of millionaires that just don't care. If you don't think those guys care, you're out of your mind. You don't get to that level by not caring. You don't earn those contracts by not caring. You don't get that kind of production and skill level and just high end Matthews, Nylander, Marner, Tavares, these guys. You don't get to that level by not caring, by being nonchalant about your craft. You give a serious shit about it. You work your ass off. You put everything you have into it. So don't let that be lost on you. I don't give a shit what they're paid. That is a byproduct of their work and their ability to do things on the hockey rink. But when you walk into that rink, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you know that whatever you do that's good, aside from winning a Stanley Cup, is basically forgotten in a second. And the second you slip up and have a hiccup, you'll get booed out of the building and everyone's going to be on your case.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living? What would that be like if you had a massive following of what you do for a living, and when you do things well, it's just kind of like a little, well, okay, all right, well, but not good enough yet, not good enough yet. And then as soon as you have a little misstep or you go about it the wrong way, you just get fucking slammed. How hard would it be to perform? How easy would it be to think about it too hard and to kind of be a little bit tense? And I'm not letting them off the hook with everything, but I'm just saying there is a reason why it's difficult to win in Toronto. And it's not the whole story, and it's not the whole reason why they haven't won since 67, but the scrutiny that they face does not help at all. And if you are a true fan and you want to win and you want to be a part of helping the team get to the next level, support is a big thing. And I know people will scoff at that and say, I paid $400 for my seat. I'm not going to fucking do anything. It's up to them. They're getting paid $11 million. Cool. That's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. I get it. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you that there is a difference between playing for the Maple Leafs and playing for the Florida Panthers when the going gets tough and the Maple Leafs have to deal with tons more pressure and tons more bullshit and tons more outside distractions and tons more scrutiny than any other team in the world. And if you do care about this team, you would, I'm not saying let them off the hook or give them a break, but you have to have a reasonable outlook on this group. You can't expect them to win 20 straight, and as soon as they lose the 21st, you're going to hammer them out of the building. It's just not right, and it's not feasible, and that was my point.
Yeah, and I think that's entirely fair. I was on the same page as you. I was legitimately shocked when I heard booing. Like, I thought that there was a point where I was like turning it up because I'm like, that can't be what's happening. And then I'm reading Twitter and it's like, yeah, they're booing. Like, okay, that's also part of why we get shit online. Like, people are like, oh, why do Leafs fans take all the heat? Well, let's be honest, guys. Like, that was pretty fucking stupid. We just went 9-1 in the last 10. You came off a win against the Rangers on Saturday night, one of the best teams in the NHL right now. And you're booing the team for, like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's
Coming
insane.
off the biggest win of the year, Saturday night game at home against the only hotter team than the Toronto Maple Leafs the past month was the New York Rangers. And you had this huge, like, everything that went into that Saturday night game was just reason to be like, this is something, man. We can build on this. And then the second they slip up, you boo them out of the fucking building. Like, Montreal Canadiens fans who are ruthless and awful, and I fucking hate them, wouldn't do that to the Habs. So why the hell would we? Why would we do that? Do you think they respond to that? Do you think that we had a better chance at winning against Boston tonight because we booed them out of the fucking building 2 nights ago? Smarten up, man. You're not helping. You're part of the big machine that makes it difficult to win in Toronto. And what kind of fan do you want to be? Do you want to be a supportive one where you're kind of ride or die? You can be mad, you can be upset, you can think things are unacceptable, and you can want change, but do you want to be a little bit ride or die? Or do you want to be the guy that fucking bails at the drop of a hat? And to me, I know which one produces better results. And I'm not saying Leafs Nation is the room they haven't won since '67, but I promise you, I've been there, I've felt it. And I was a pigeon on the team. Can you imagine how Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf and these guys felt dealing with that shit every single day? It makes it difficult to do your job. And if you could put yourself in those shoes and relate it to your own life and your own job, maybe you could see that. But I don't agree with it. The margins are too slim, and you're making it more difficult for this team to win. I'm sorry.
All right, well, Rosie, I appreciate you taking the time here. I'm not going to kick you off quite yet. I got another question for you before you go. One more before you go on the way out. I do appreciate you taking the time to do this, and you will be on Across the Nation Network all day tomorrow as well, so got a long day ahead of you covering trades and breaking everything down. But, I mean, first, look, I'm going to give you flowers for doing this, and I appreciate you taking the time, but there's another super chat here. Dan Freeman, Rosie, never changed, buddy. Love Leafs morning take, so there you go. People are just fired up.
That one is too easy. Hit me with another one.
yeah, that one's easy. Okay, this one is going to be bigger picture here for you. So let's hit the super chat animation. All right, so context here, Rosie. Michael has been following me for a while. He's been asking me this. I've done my best to answer. But similar questions going to pop up for you here, so maybe you can get a different perspective. Michael says, Jay, after 7 years of the same problem, does Shanny need to be held accountable for giving his vote of confidence to keep Mitch and Willie when they could have traded them? Now, sadly, they can't, and the team is stuck. Where do you come in on Shanny, the Shanna plan, and the fact that we've kind of just continued to run it back year after year after year, despite kind of seeing the same thing happen every single year in the playoffs, or similar thing happen each year in the playoffs?
Well, first of all, I understand your plight, but second, this isn't the time to be having that conversation. It's not. This is the worst time of the year and the last reasonable time of the year to be having that conversation. I'm all about having that in the late spring. I'm all about having that in the summertime. I get it. They've gotten themselves in the position where they've put their faith in their prospects that have turned into stars. They've gotten to the point where they've paid certain people money where it's just a domino effect, and they've got themselves they've got a name for them, the core four. I mean, is John Tavares, would you sign him today for 11 million for at the beginning of the season for 2 years? Absolutely not. But it's what it took. It's at the tail end of a big boy contract where you have to kick in those extra couple of years where we might not be living up to it just to get him there in the first place. And, Matthew speaks for himself. Marner, I have been an opponent of Marner in the past. I feel a lot of times that his bite and his jam and his work ethic and his grind and his playoff performance and mentality towards the playoff style of hockey is non-existent. So I've been an opponent of him and not allowing him to get to that point where he's unmovable. And, we're probably going to sign, like, there's a lot of things you could go and bitch about. But at the end of the day, this is up to these players, and they have put their faith in it. Nobody on the outside has the power to decide. So what they have done is gone ahead and signed these guys, and they're in power, and they're the boys at the helm. You just need them. Like, the biggest problem with the Leafs is that those guys don't produce when they need to. They go away in the playoffs. They go away against Boston. That's the biggest problem. But when it's time to sign them on the dotted line, you're going to look at all the accolades and the points and the trophies, and it's going to be very difficult to let them go. And when you do let them go, it's going to be like, what are we getting in return? Not even close to what they're worth. So it's a tough position. And I mean, everyone can play armchair quarterback. I wouldn't want Shanahan's job. I wouldn't want Dubas's job. I wouldn't want Tree Leming's job right now. But I understand where your plight comes from, how you could be handcuffed to these certain players, and they're all a similar dimensional player. It's not like you have a Nathan McKinnon there, or some of these guys, these power forwards with this jam, with this leadership, with this get on my back type of thing. And honestly, I feel like it is what it is. Now is not the time to have that conversation. We can have it in the summer, but we have what we have now. And now it's about, the coaching and Sheldon Keefe. And are these guys being held accountable? What are the parameters of being able to, live your life in the Maple Leafs locker room, at the way that you want to? Or are you being held accountable? Like, should Nylander have been on the power play after his performance out there? There's so many things that I look at going, what is the system of this team? What is the mentality going into a game? When things go bad, what do you have solidified over the past 5-7 years that they can fall back on, feel comfortable with, and then charge forward with? It seems like nothing. It just seems like Swiss cheese. They fall, and who the fuck knows who's going to pick up the slack? Who knows if anyone's going to be available? Who knows if anyone's going to lead? Who knows if anyone's going to even show up? And so far, it seems to be, a bit of quicksand where they all just get stuck and just get shelled when the going gets tough. And it's a terrible attribute of a team. And it's one that they need to figure out. And it just sucks they're in this division and they're going to be facing the Floridas and the Bostons of the world. But it's not lost. This is a good hockey team that can play good hockey. Just, you need to find that chemistry. You need to find someone to step up. And I mean, crazy things happen when you look at this. The St. Louis Blues, why were they dead last at Christmas? And then they won the Stanley Cup. Do you know how fucking good you have to be to win the Stanley Cup? Do you know how much has to click to win the Stanley Cup? They did it. How was that same relative group dead last? Like, things change. You can find shit, but it's going to start with the big boys, and someone just has to fucking show up. And unfortunately, my thing is that a lot of them have the same outlook on the game, wait and see what happens, see what comes to them. They all let the game come to them. And when you're in a certain type of game where, it comes on your stick, you take advantage and you bury and you make your nice plays and you can win a game. But when a team like Boston's taking it to you and you're letting the game come to you, good luck getting control of it. And it's frustrating hearing them say that we've learned another lesson, because you need to do something fucking different against that team if you're going to stop learning lessons and start putting your foot forward and being the boss out there. This week they're nowhere close, but things happen fast. That's my only saving grace. Things change, things can happen, and crazier things have happened, but we're in this position and we're breaking it down for a reason. Nobody's happy, man. Sorry to rant.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I appreciate it. I appreciate the breakdown there. This is something I've been asked. I kind of was at the point, I'm not gonna lie as well. I've told Michael before, I'm like, what are we doing? We're a day away from the trade deadline and we're worrying about firing Shanahan. Like, now's not the time. We can't be doing this. But
I wish I had better answers. I wish I had concrete, here's what you do. Plain and simple, but it's not that simple. And it's 20 guys trying to do something together, and it's not tennis. You can't just go watch the video and say, your forehand's fucked, we got to go work on that, and then you're good, and now you're going to go, challenge at a major. It's not that it's not that black and white cut dry. There's a lot of pieces of that puzzle that are not obvious, that aren't visible, that you're just constantly trying to access. And that's what every team's trying to do. And unfortunately, this team has gotten itself in a pattern where when the going gets tough, they can't access their best hockey. And I hope and I'm sure that they're scrambling to figure out how to do so, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. So I'm hoping they're trying different things to try to break this cycle of playoff misery.
All right. I appreciate you taking the time. You've been very generous with it here. I asked you for 10, 15, so you staying on. I really, really appreciate taking the time to do this. I'm gonna get you out of here on one positive note.
Yes,
you
I like
don't
that.
have to give me a crazy answer or anything, but Bertuzzi's fight. Were you not as were you as fired up as I think the rest of every single Leafs fan watching him? Not the fact like, oh, he fought, but just like that felt like he kind of just it felt a little bit like a shit kicking, and it was pretty fun to watch.
Yes, totally. It's like we get tired of watching the Leafs kind of on their heels and having to respond to aggression and having to react to aggression. And it's kind of
Yes.
like, are you in the driver's seat or not? And in that particular instance, Bertuzzi was in the fucking driver's seat from start to finish. He went and had him. He got loose. He went and got him again. I mean, that guy, how long does it take you to get your fucking gloves off, man? Like
I
he's
know,
hesitant because, and you get more hesitant when a guy is right in your face, super confident, like actively pursuing like a dog, just like frothing at the mouth. Like, Jesus, he didn't really want him. And then, okay, like you're painted into a corner here. The guy's got to do something. And Bertuzzi just like going left-handed to start. Like that guy probably wouldn't even be able to handle the most basic fighting strategy. Switching hands to lefty, he's probably like everything. He's probably like flashing back to Junior. I think I'm supposed to hold on with this hand and then protect. And then he's going left-handed, just fucking pounding him. Want more of that, man. I want to start games running
Yeah.
guys through the bench, running guys through the boards,
Yes.
then going by their bench saying, what the fuck else do you have for me? Who's left? Is anyone going to do anything? Fuck you. Go to the bench, and then on your next guy that comes out going, want me too? Get the fuck out. Like, all on the same board, cocky, confident, fucking hammered down. I love that shit. Everybody does. And this group could use a lot more of it. So to see Bertuzzi come forward to it, a guy who's, the playoffs that he has played, he's had success in it. A guy to find that stride, the Domies of the world, and McCabe went a little bit crazy in the first period, but just guys that take the bull by the horns and start shit instead of reacting to it all the time is a very welcome look in Leafs Nation, I think.
Yeah, I was fired up. Like, I'm watching that. I'm like, this guy looked like a dog on raw meat, like going out there, going after him in the corner. He was giving him these, like, even before the fight, when you're waiting for him to drop the gloves, he's giving him, like, this crazy person look. Like, let's go, we're going. And finally, as soon as he decides, yeah, I'll drop the gloves with you, Bertuzzi knew exactly what was going to happen right away and just kind of took it to him. That was pretty electric. I think one of the shining moments maybe from tonight, if we could say that, about a takeaway for this fan base at least.
So imagine having 20 guys doing that at the same time. It's not all about
Yeah,
fighting
exactly.
and stuff like that, but having that look in your eyes, like just like we're here, like just Darth Vader shows up as a 20-man fucking crew and just rolls on this team and just wave after wave, confidence, cocky, F you, chip on your shoulder. And then when you're rolling like that, the puck comes to Mitch Marner's hands, Nylander's. You get it in the slot, Austin Matthew, fucking Burry. How do you like that shit? Bang by the bench, line up again. It's just like, oh my God, playing those teams is insane. And this team's capable of it. It's free
Yeah,
to act like Bertuzzi did tonight. It doesn't cost anything. You don't need to be
right.
blessed by God with talent out your ears to go and do that. Just get a chip on your shoulder. Know that it's going to be dirty and difficult. Go out there and empty the fucking tank and let that lead the way, and all the talent and the skill will follow up in spades, man. It's a mentality thing, and I just hope they can find a piece of it, man. And maybe, the shining light, maybe the Boston, they've been overconfident before. Everyone in the world thought they were going to just roll to the finals last year. They got shocked. Maybe they thought it was going to be easy. If the Leafs change their mentality and their attitude and they get in a series with Boston and these guys remember this week and these guys don't have a whole lot of bite and they're thinking about the second round, after game 1 and 2, look the
Yeah.
fuck out. Crazy things happen, but these boys have got to change their mentality, in my opinion.
All right, Rosie, I appreciate you taking the time here to do this today. Again, very generous with it. So thank you very much. I'm sure the chat appreciated it. But if you're not already, I mean, take 2 seconds, click the like button here on the stream tonight, subscribe here to the channel. You'll see plenty more breakdowns every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube with Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill here breaking things down with this Leafs team as it goes on. I mean, no more trade speculation after tomorrow, but tomorrow 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, you guys will come back here and you can see Nick and Jay break this down, break everything down from the trade deadline. So I'm not going to take any of your trade deadline predictions or anything like that, because if people want that, A, subscribe to this channel, and B, subscribe to the other channels across the Nation Network to find out all that stuff. So, Rosie, thank you very much for taking the time. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll continue to keep going here on this stream with people, looks like, still losing their fucking minds in the chat no matter what. So we'll keep rocking with that. But thank you very much.
Zach, thank you. Much appreciated. It's the first time, but it won't be the last. And honestly, I love to have a little bit of an outlet after a game to come on here and do what you've been doing for so long. It's a breath of fresh air and something I like doing. So thanks for having me. And like I said, it won't be the last time.
Yeah, well, I'm more than happy to have you back anytime, and we can come here and scream about this team or be happy about this team together, whatever it is. But thanks, Rosie. Appreciate it. And for everyone else, you guys can catch Rosie tomorrow on the Nation Network. Not tomorrow morning at 11, but tomorrow afternoon as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
There you go. Jay Rosehill helping us break things down for this Leafs game here tonight against the Boston Bruins, losing this one in what was a tough one. I see a bunch of super chats that have come in here. Obviously, we try to get to as many of those as we could during the show here tonight with Rosie on. We do appreciate everyone sending them, but I'll answer the rest of those as well. Some of those were specific to Rosie. Some of the stuff I wanted to ask him myself, see what his thoughts were on this game, see where he was coming in on this one. So let's get to some of these super chats, and we'll motor through these and answer some of the questions that we haven't yet already. Yes, as well, as we get to the super chat, I see Patrick G Mafia Leafs therapy. That is pretty much what this is. Whether it's myself ranting, Rosie ranting, Nick, who's going to come on at different points as well, and rant about the team, rant about the game. Doesn't matter. We'll have a plethora of guests that come through as well. If you guys want to call into the show, you're more than welcome. You just got to send me a message, and we will answer. I will take people's calls, and you guys can ask questions. You can rant. You can get pissed off. You can get excited. Whatever it is, you guys are more than welcome to call into this channel at any given moment. Discord, message, Instagram, Twitter, however you want to reach out. I do appreciate it. But we'll get into the super chats as well quickly here too, because I don't want to forget about it. I don't want to just let this pass by. We did hit 100 likes here on the stream, so thank you very much. That means smelling salts, though, and will just absolutely rattle my brain here again tonight. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Getting nervous out of the smelling salts. Thank you, guys. You get it to 150. We have to do them again. Oh, my God. All right. Yes, fan calls as well. I see Brett saying fan calls. Yes. We take fan calls here on the channel. You guys want to call in, you want to give your thoughts, you want to ask questions, whatever. We'll take those. Just got to message me. I'm going to work with the guys here. We'll see if we can find a better way to get people to call in, an easier way for you guys. But, oh my God, that is something that we will do. Super chat here. First one, Dan Freeman. Marchand gets under your skin and takes a cross check at the Adam's apple and goes back to the bench pumping his team up. We don't have anything like that. I would disagree. I would say that the team does have guys who do that. The team does have guys like that. Bertuzzi, Domi, like they're capable. Reeves, obviously, is somebody who's capable of doing that. The difference with it is, in my opinion, that we don't have someone who's the top tier talent. Marchand's one of the best players on the Bruins, and he's a guy who can do that. He's a guy who does that. He does it consistently. He will continue to bring that energy, and he's able to drag his team into it. It's great to have guys on your team who are willing to do it. Domi, Bertuzzi, McCabe, Benoit. I'm going to continue to mention those games, but those are the guys who do it. The problem is that they can only bring so much energy and so much excitement when you have a guy like Marchand leading from the front, it just means a whole lot more. So we have guys who do that. It's maybe just not the right guys. I see people asking questions in the chat here as well. How do we call in? Whatever. Send me a message on Instagram. Tweet at me. DM me on Twitter, whatever. We're gonna find a better way to get this done. I promise you guys will continue to find a better way. But you send me a message, I'll send you guys a Zoom link and you can call into the show. I'm happy to have people. I want to hear from people. I want to know what your thoughts are, and I want to answer questions. But that's kind of the best way that we can do it. At ZackPhill on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Another super chat. All right, Nate 92. Bruins haven't been good lately, and they don't have a tough roster. The Leafs stars are just okay. The Leafs stars are just losers who have choked in big moments their entire career. Nate, I know you've sent super chats before. I appreciate you sending the super chat here. I do disagree. I mean, no, you're right. The Bruins haven't been good lately. They hadn't been good going into the game against the Leafs on Monday night. They had been struggling since the All-Star break. We had heard constant conversation about how their game had dropped off, the underlying analytics had dropped off. Like, there was a lot that was kind of going wrong or going in the wrong direction for this Bruins team. They are a good team. Like, that Bruins team is a good team. I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. I think that they had been in a tough stretch. They had been underperforming. They're a good team. So it is completely, in my opinion, irresponsible to sit here and say that they aren't a good team or whatever. It's the wrong way to go about it. They haven't been playing that well. And to say they don't have a tough roster, the Bruins culturally, their organizational culture has consistently been this tough to play against, hard building to go into organization and group that has just always been hard to play against. So maybe they don't have traditional tough guys. Maybe they don't have a team or a roster built out with guys from top to bottom who will go in there and just every single one of them will punch you in the head. But that's a tough team. That's a tough roster, and it's a tough team to play against. Every single one of those guys buys in. It starts at the very top, and I'm not talking about the coaches. I'm not talking about just the GMs. I'm talking about the ownership, the fan base. Every single thing about those guys is tough as fuck. They are a hard building to go to. They are a hard team to play against. And the way Marchand, whether you like him or not, and Bergeron and those guys have made everyone else buy in years past, it has built this culture in there that has just been this, you're going to buy in every single way possible, and it makes them tough. As for the Leafs, I mean, the Stars, I don't think they're losers, but yeah, they have not performed in big moments. That's undeniable, Nate. I mean, I don't think they're losers, but yeah, they've not performed when it's mattered most, and I think that's what's pissed people off a lot. And Rosie came on here tonight and talked about it, and I think that it's a perfect breakdown of what happened. I think it's a perfect breakdown of who they are and who they've been in years past, and it's concerning that they show these glimpses here in games like this that makes you think maybe they haven't changed. Maybe they haven't changed. Maybe it's the same team that they've always been. And that's a concerning thought. To everyone who's finding out who I am for the first time, I appreciate you watching, subscribing, liking. If you came here for Rosie, he was on for a long time here tonight. I asked him for like 10, 15 minutes, and he was more than generous with his time. So I appreciate him for doing that, for hopping on, for giving a breakdown of tonight's game, for answering your super chats as well. So thank you to him, but he was on throughout the whole thing. If you guys have stayed since the Rosie interview, thank you as well for sticking around. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications. One thing before I get to the super chat. If you guys watch the game preview, which we'll continue to do, I'll continue to do those here on this channel before every game. We'll break them down. I bet a lot on hockey. I host a betting show as well, one of the other shows that I host. I will be giving out a best bet for each game, courtesy of Bet99. I mean, an incredible sponsor to have here on this channel, an incredible partner to be working with, very appreciative of them hopping on board. And, especially sometimes these early March Leafs games, these before the trade deadline Leafs games, they can be a little bit vanilla. Obviously, this one here tonight, it had a little bit more excitement. But if you're looking for even more excitement on top of that, the way to do it is with the Bet99 Sportsbook. Your local Canadian sportsbook and online casino built by Canadians for Canadians with top-tier customer service, fast payouts, and smooth transactions. Bet99 should be your choice of sportsbook. You must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. It is available to persons in Ontario only, as you see across the screen there. Bet99. Bet on Bet99 with me. And we'll continue to try to help you guys make some money. If you guys watched the game preview earlier today, you would have seen, we lost the one last night. We're gonna be transparent. You win, you lose, you lose. I'm not gonna pretend like we don't or pretend like we do. You guys can track all of it. I will continue to post them out, continue to post updated records of everything that goes on. You guys can see them on the game previews, so check those out as well. But we went into the first game, we went Bertuzzi power play point plus 475. Quarter unit on that. We're going $100 unit sizes on these. We went quarter unit, so $25 to return 120 there in profit. That one loses. We're down $25. Tonight, Pavel Zacha, anytime assist. Pavel Zacha over 0.5 assists to record an assist in this game. I said it. I love this team. I love the Leafs. I want the Leafs to win. I would have loved the Leafs to shut out the Bruins tonight. But I also love money. And I love finding good bets. Pavel Zacha to record an assist plus 190 was a great bet. We went a full unit on that bet, plus 190, $100 to return $290, $190 in profit. We won. No stress on that one. No stress on that winner. So if you guys following along, that loss the other day, we're right back. If we're following along unit sizes, we're right back, ladies and gentlemen. Bet99, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Available to persons in Ontario only. Appreciate everyone who followed in there, but make sure to check them out. Built by Canadians for Canadians. Check out Bet99. Available to 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Available to persons in Ontario only. Check that out. Let's continue on here with some of the super chats, and I see people firing as well on top of that. Go Tunas, go. Didn't play my game here tonight because I'm here talking to you guys. I had to watch that monstrosity, but my hockey team came through. Shout out to the boys. Go Tunas, go. Big win. First round, best 2 out of 3. We got it done. But you know why? Because we had balls, we had character, we had guts, we had versatility throughout the lineup, next man up mentality, and the boys got it done here tonight. So massive win. 2-0 series win. Easy. Congratulations to them. I know they're watching right now, so I wanted to give the boys a shout out. Wag. One more save. Let's continue with super chats. All right, super chat here. Dan Freeman. Dan, does tonight's game help management pull the plug? Pull the plug. I mean, if you're going to say pull the plug and just say, like, if you're saying pull the plug from the perspective of, do they say fuck it and they don't go crazy tomorrow on the deadline or tonight here as we approach the final day, then yeah, like, I think that they were probably pretty hesitant anyways. I feel like we as a fan base of this Maple Leafs team have gotten into this mindset and into this mentality that, like, every year at the deadline, you got to go absolutely nuts and trade for whoever you can that's out there. And Certain years, I think that that's fair. I think that's fine to do. I mean, you look over at the Vegas Golden Knights. You look at them going in and acquiring Barbashev last year. You acquire Hanifin this year. Like, that team's not afraid to make moves. You acquired Mark Stone and Eichel. Like, they make big moves. You push your chips in, and that's fine. The difference to me between this Leafs team and what I see out of like a team like Vegas who does that is that Vegas team feels a whole lot more, or has felt in years past, prepared for the playoffs, built for the playoffs, and to have success on these long playoff runs. This Leafs team had kind of lacked that to me. I saw this team and this year as an opportunity to, you know what? Let's not go nuts. Let's not waste the picks, the assets that we have. Let's not waste some of these prospects that we've got coming up. Easton Cowan on the 30-game point streak. Fraser Minton was the captain of Team Canada at the World Juniors. Why would we blow all of this stuff away on these rental players? The only way I was getting interested and intrigued in the idea of going nuts and going and making some trades is if you're going to be getting people with term, or on top of that, or instead of that, excuse me, being able to get guys that you can extend once they get here. You look at Hanifin. That's a guy who was expiring at the end of this season, and Vegas just says, yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. We're going to sign the guy to $7 million a year and extend him after this. Like, you go out and get these guys that you just keep on board after. Mark Stone stays in Vegas, signs an extension. Eichel goes there. Like, this guy's going to be there for a long time. I just don't see the idea, the rationale behind going and just spending it all on a team that's probably still a little bit further away. I feel like if you're Brad Treliving, if you're Brendan Shanahan, you're looking at this group, you're looking at the way that they're constructed, and then you're going to look at who's available in this UFA class, or you're going to look at who's available at the deadline this year. The best way to go about it is to say, we did the heavy lifting in the summer. I don't mind these trades that they made for Lyubushkin and Edmondson here today. I think these are ones that we can kind of look at and say, you know what, 3rd and 6th round picks for guys who are retained. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm not over the moon about it. I don't think it puts us that much closer to winning the Stanley Cup, but I think it probably just helps because it solidifies some stuff and it starts building the team in the direction that Brad Treliving has probably been wanting to do for the whole year. And as soon as he got here with this Leafs team, look at every single guy that he's acquired and brought into this team. They're like, will punch you in the face. They're tough. They're not afraid of anyone. They're 6'2", 6'4", 6'5". He goes and trades for this fucking guy who's drafted by Carolina, who's playing at Boston University right now. He's 6'7". Like, he's just acquiring monsters. And say what you will and read the cards all you want and look at the analytics and all that stuff. And I understand that there's credence to it. And I understand that there's something that needs to be said about them and how they apply to the game. But they can't be everything that you're going to evaluate, because look at the past Stanley Cup winners. Tampa, massive decor. Vegas, massive decor. St. Louis, Washington, pretty big decor. Like, these teams that have won, LA, Chicago, they had big groups, big defensive cores. Brad Treliving has made it a point to go out and get big defensemen back there who are going to be part of that group, and I don't mind it because it's kind of just saying, like, we're going to overload on this thing that we've significantly lacked in years past. In terms of pull the plug ahead of tomorrow, Dan, to answer your question, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like they're in on that many people. It doesn't seem like they're going nuts right now. We saw Nick tweet out earlier today, and we've seen some of the other insiders tweeting out about the fact that, hey, these guys aren't done. They're still in on some stuff, and I think that's great. I think you should poke around. Like, why would you not? Why would you not see who's available and what they might cost? But that being said, I mean, I don't think they're done. I think they're going to add. So to answer your question, do they pull the plug? No, I don't think that they do. I think that they probably make another move. Do I pull the plug? Yeah, I probably do. Unless something comes across my table tomorrow morning of somebody saying, if I'm the GM, if I'm Brad Treliving and somebody hands something across my table that I say, I cannot refuse this. Like, this is either so cheap and it just makes us a little bit better and it doesn't hurt us, I'll take it. And it maybe gives us some depth or improves slightly in an area. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck about this piece that I'm giving up the other way. Fine, I'll do it. Or on the other flip side, if it's like, yeah, Parayko, Bushnevich, we'll give them to you. Parayko's on this long-term deal here. He'll stay here in Toronto for a while, and we can sort out the details to a point that feels reasonable. That's the only other way that I do it. Outside of that, I'm not looking for rentals, really. I mean, I know Lyubushkin and Edmondson, are rentals, but outside of that, like, I'm not looking to acquire more. Those guys were depth to bring in here for help, and we didn't give up firsts and seconds and prospects to get them, so I'm fine. I'm not really pissed. Another super chat. Super chat here from Michael again. This one was for Jay. Sorry, Michael. He's not on here anymore. Hopefully he was able to answer some of the questions earlier. But Michael says, Jay, Leaf failure in playoffs were because of extremely lacking of scoring. If you're the GM, will you go ask Mitch to remove no trade? I mean, I don't think that happens here. I just don't think it happens at this deadline, Michael, the honest answer. I appreciate the super chat, though. Thank you very much. Max NTS Decimus, super chat. Oh, my bad. Didn't play the animation. All right, Max says, can't be negative all the time. Loved Marner's goal. Yeah, I mean, you can't be negative all the time. It was a nice goal. I agree. I'm not really like, what the hell was Mitch do? Like, okay, actually, no. I shouldn't say that because that's wrong. I am, what the hell is Mitch doing? But it was very specifically to that empty netter. What the fuck was that? Like, every single person can agree that was absolutely insane. Sorry, the Pittsburgh-Carolina trade has just gone through. For those of you interested, obviously I'm not breaking this. I'm just reading out what happened. This was tweeted out by Daily Faceoff, here part of the network, so shout out to them. To Carolina, Jake Gensel and Ty Smith. I mean, to Pittsburgh, Michael Bunting, Vili Koivunen, Vasily. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this name. Ponomarev, Cruz Lucius, a conditional first, a conditional fifth, and Pittsburgh retains 25% of Gensel's contract. So there you go. Gensel to Carolina, Michael Bunting to Pittsburgh. If you're gonna say anything about Dubas, he loves his guys. So Bunting to Pittsburgh. There you go. Gensel to Carolina, Ty Smith to Carolina there as well. Continuing on about what Max said. Sorry to get distracted. I just saw the trade come through. Shout out my roommate for sending me the official details there. Liam, legend. But yeah, Max saying can't be negative all the time. Yep. I mean, I know you can't be negative all the time. The thing that I will be negative about though, how the hell did Marner not shoot that puck in the empty net? Beautiful pass by Benoit to him backdoor. He's got an entire empty net, does not shoot, skates all the way around the net, and then tries to turn and shoot and hurts himself. Like, what the hell happened there? He came back, obviously, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, if this guy's injured, seriously injured, the day before the trade deadline, because he didn't shoot in an empty fucking net, my head was going to explode. But his goal, it was good, yes. I just feel like for the rest of the game, he was somewhat non-existent. It's not really like a fuck this guy kind of night. It was more just like, he just didn't do anything for me. Another super chat. Super chat there. We might have to change that music. Probably fair. Dan Freeman, no snarl, $50-60 million of no fight. I mean, Dan, the guys that, well, yeah, like Matthews, Nylander, Marner, Tavares did not fight. I don't anticipate them to fight, though. I just don't. Like, I think we're expecting too much at this point. Year 8 of these guys, year 15 of John Tavares' career, to think that they're gonna fight. Like, we saw the snarl and the snot and the fight come out of the other guys on the team, McCabe, Domi, and Bertuzzi here tonight. Like, it really showed up out of them. So I don't know. We're not paying, like, you're not paying Marner and those guys to fight. I do appreciate the super chat though. Another super chat. Robert Smith. Robert says Leafs got grit. I mean, holy shit! What a contrast to read Robert's super chat after Dan's. I think Roberts came when Jay was talking about the Bertuzzi fight, and I did like that. And to Jay's point, on top of that, Rosie was talking about the fact that they take it to them. That was Bertuzzi going out there and going at him. I love that. Like, that's what we're talking about. Like, I love what I'm seeing there. You see this team in years past, we talk about they don't respond. Finally, you bring some guys who respond. Okay, that's great. The next step of this is it's great to have guys respond, but to Jay's point, like, it doesn't fucking matter if you're not going to take it to the other team. And you see far too often, whether it's to start the game just from a level of play, whether it's from the intensity that's going on, whether it's from battles that are going on and scrums and corner battles, net front battles, whatever, you see far too often this team, they will just have to respond now. You want to see them, like Bertuzzi, say, no, I'm going to go after you. I'm not accepting this fight. I'm making you fight. And I also give credit to Domi, whether you like it or not. I give credit to Domi for going after, whether you like him or not. I give him credit for going after Marchand and kind of just jumping him. Because so often we see this Leafs team, you're down 4-1, you're down 3-1 in the third period. They just fuck off and say, we want to go home. Maybe it's not as egregious as that, but it's like, it's that kind of pack it up. There's not much fight. The third period just kind of gets along and we just try to get here for the post-game show and then we hash it out. This was like, I can't leave the TV. I can't stop watching this game because it feels like every time that Domi and Bertuzzi go out on the ice or McCabe goes out on the ice, they're going to go and finish a check on somebody. They're going to piss somebody off. They're going to get in their face. And honestly, I don't want to hear from people the idea of, oh, well, it's too late now, or that's poor sportsmanship or whatever. No, it's not. Because you know who does that? Tampa, Boston, Florida, Colorado, Vegas, Dallas. The teams that we look at every single year and say those guys are contenders. Those guys are hard to play against. Those guys they won't be pushed around. Those are the teams that at the end of the game, if they played like shit, if they're down 3-1, if they're down 4-1, they say, fuck it. We're going out with a bang. And even if it's not a comeback and they're going to make things close, they're the ones going out there and punching you in the head and finishing every check and fighting you and spearing you. I use that word, they're not literally spearing, but you know what I mean? Like, they're getting in there, they're jabbing you with sticks, they're in the mix every single time at the end of the game, whether it's in the corner, in front of the net, whatever. And I was watching these guys, I'm watching Domi, Bertuzzi, and McCabe do that. I'm like, thank God. Like, that shows me something that we just don't see in years past. We didn't really even see on Monday, and I was at least glad to see that. I do agree with people of, you know what, it's too little too late. That's fine. But it's also this difference in where they've been from years before where they just don't do that. Like, they just don't do that. Another super chat. Phenom. This is an interesting question. I mean, this is a question for the offseason more than it is right now. I appreciate why you're sending it, and I will try to answer it. But Phenom says, and then thank you for the super chat as well. Do you think 34 Matthews getting the C would affect him or the team? I mean, I don't know. I think that realistically, especially once you're in the NHL, the leaders are the leaders. Like whoever's the leader of the team, whoever's going to be those guys, they're going to step up. It doesn't matter if you have the C, if you have the A, what like it really doesn't matter. I think that it should go to the guy who's the biggest leader, but what am I gonna say? Like JT's not a leader? I don't know. I'm not in that room. I have legitimately no clue. We could say what we want about how he handles the media or his play on the ice, but maybe the coaching staff looks at him and the GMs looked at him and they said, this is the guy who's the leader in the room. And if he is, then he is. And then there's no issue with that. Like, I look at some of the other teams around the league and look at some of the captains, like, who is it? Adam Lowry in Winnipeg. I don't know. He's not the guy that would, like, stick out to me as a guy who's going to wear the C, but he does. And I think it probably makes sense. I think it fits him. I think it fits the team. I think they probably look at him as the leader, as the captain of the team. It's not about being the best player on the team wearing the C. It's literally who's the leader. And if JT's the leader, then he's the leader. I don't think it really changes anything for him. I would honestly say there may be like a 1 to 5% change in him. Outside of that, I would say minimal to none. Like it's pretty much nothing that there's going to be any change in him. For the team, I don't know. I truly cannot speak to that. I just don't know. I wish I could give you a better answer. I just can't. Or that's the best answer that I can give you, I guess. Another super chat here. All right. Super chat again from Dan. Dan saying, I'm saying they don't have the fight. Yeah, I mean, this is referring back to Dan's comment earlier there. No snarl, $50-60 million of no fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, yeah, it's those big boys. And look, this might be an unreasonable ask. You guys can tell me. Maybe Rosie will see it and say, you know what, you're a fucking idiot. Like, but one time I kind of want to see Matthews snap. I want to see his brain explode and him just absolutely lose it. Like, I think for the rest of the team, seeing Morgan Rielly do that against Ridley Gregg was like the first rallying cry. As pathetic as that may be, and being into the 8th year of these guys being here, I feel like that kind of gives them a little bit of a jolt where it's like, holy shit, we kind of got to take some pride in the logo on the front of the jersey. Matthews is like, what, 6'3", 6'4", like, he's a monster of a human. That's a big dude. And I feel like maybe right now it's maybe a little bit late in the season for it to happen. And I'm not talking about because the message can't be sent anymore. I'm literally talking about, like, you genuinely cannot afford to have that guy get hurt right now. Like, game 63, we're 19 games now away from the playoffs. That guy throws a punch and breaks his hand, we're fucked. Like, it's game over. You wave the white flag, you just say, let's get out of here, end the season, we're done. That guy gets hurt and he can't play in the playoffs. You're screwed. There's no shot. There's no shot, truly, in my opinion at least. You need him to be the best player. They haven't been in the years past, and if he's not even on the ice, that's it. So maybe now it's too late. To me, I look at, like, earlier in the season, that guy, his wires cross, he goes nuts. You know, we saw the video of McKinnon grabbing Garland's helmet and whipping it at him. Can you do that? No. Should you do that? No. Did I kind of love it? Yeah, I did. Because that's the best player on the Colorado Avalanche who had his wires cross for a moment and whipped a helmet at a guy who was pissing him off. You should never be doing that and throwing equipment at people on the ice. I will fully agree with that. But I think people who watch hockey and actually get it and what it takes to succeed and go to the next level would also kind of sit there and be like, well, that was kind of sick. Like, that's the best player doing that. It's going to show some buy-in. One time I want to see Matthews just snap. I want to see it. All right, this has been a long stream. I appreciate everyone who has watched the show, liked the stream. We are also, quick math, 17 likes away. There's enough of you watching still who haven't hit the like button. What are you doing? I mean, quickly, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you get notified every single time that we go live. I don't know why that animation's freezing like that, but it is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., Rosie and Nick, they'll be back here to recap everything that's gone on with this Leafs team during the deadline, whether it was today's Edmondson trade, if they're going to recap Lyubushkin, maybe there's no moves tomorrow, maybe there's a bunch of moves tomorrow, whatever it is. They'll be back here at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, so subscribe, turn on notifications, then that way you don't miss a second of their show tomorrow recapping everything, because that's going to be pretty sick. We do have two things to get through here today before we can wrap this one up. You guys continue to hit that like button, and maybe, just maybe, we get one more smelling salts before we get out of here. My brain is tingling at this point, but it's for a good cause. And you know what? Maybe it's not, because that causes you guys, but whatever. Let's get to our play of the game. Okay, play of the game for me. This is tough. This is a tough one. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Bertuzzi fight. This is probably the most positive thing that we could have come away from. We didn't talk about it much either. The McCabe first shift. I watched it back. Do I excuse McCabe for the cross check to the face? No, I don't think you should cross check to the face. Again, it kind of talks about, it kind of brings me back to the whole like Morgan Riley thing. I don't think that you should ever cross check anybody in the face. It is what it is. But that being said, he kind of just said fuck you to the Bruins, and I watched it a couple times, whether intentional or not. I think that Marchand caught him with the stick on the turnaround, and it probably made McCabe snap a little bit. That's why he went at him for kind of seemingly no reason. If you watch it back, it looks like he just kind of jabbed him with the stick, and McCabe just said fuck you and laid him out. So I kind of appreciate the toughness. I appreciate him saying, I'm not going to take any shit here tonight. Probably could have gone about it maybe a little bit differently, but I'm fine with that. My play of the game is going to be the Bertuzzi fight, because holy shit, that was electric. Just absolutely launching bombs, uppercut after uppercut after uppercut. The guy was like, I kind of don't want to fight here. And Bert said, I want to fight. You're going to fight me. He took it to him and then went like lefty right away, like Rosie's saying. Like when he went lefty, immediately, I was watching this guy who just didn't really want to fight Bertuzzi and was like, this guy is fucked. Like, this guy is so screwed to have to fight Bertuzzi like this with what's going on. Like, going into that, not wanting to fight, waiting forever, and then saying, okay, I'll fight you, and Bertuzzi giving him, like, the I'm gonna rip your head off eyes, and then going left. I was like, oh, this thing is done. And he was going lefts, feeding up uppercuts, like just bomb after bomb after bomb. That was pretty electric. It's kind of the real bit like positive light of tonight's game. It was sick. Yeah, Sudbury Southpaw, like it was electric. That's my play of the game. All right, 12 more likes here. We'll get some smelling salts before we get out of here tonight. I appreciate all the likes, the subscribes. We're at 7,680 here on the Leafs Nation Network. Come on, let's pump those numbers up. Let's help the boys out. Like, why can't we get... There were so many people watching tonight, and I look at the numbers after the fact. I know the producers here look at the numbers after the fact. It's like 50% of the people watching not subscribed. Come on. You're watching the content. You like the content. You continue to come back to the content. Hit the subscribe button. Like and subscribe. Come on. Let's get this thing to 8K. Why not? Aim for the moon. If you miss, you land amongst the stars. I think that's the saying. Let's get to our final thing here before we wrap this one up tonight, while you guys keep hitting that like button, and let's get to our grades of the game.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Grades of the game. Drop yours in the chat as well. Damn. You know what? I hadn't really thought of my grade. I'm gonna have to dial it in now. I think I'm just gonna have to go with a... Oh God, what am I gonna go with? Like a C minus. I think the second period was a lot better. I think that the first... Wow. Am I out to lunch right now? Robert Smith, B+. Max, B. Want to say A? Arsenal, B-. Okay, here's why I give it the C-. Maybe you guys can talk me into a C. Maybe I'll go up to a C. Here's why I'm at a C-. First of all, power play did not feel that effective. Did not feel good enough. I felt like it was more dangerous on the second on the second unit than it was on the first. Than the first unit was. These ones worry me because one thing that this team has struggled with in years past is when they get to the playoffs, the power play drops off and you just feel like it's not as effective as it should be for a team that's one of the best power plays in the league and with all this potent offense, and they disappear. And it felt like we kind of got tested by that tonight. That was kind of shitty. I don't think Joseph Wall played that well. I thought Samsonov was going on Monday. I thought he should have gone on Monday. I thought he should have gone again tonight. Joseph Wall gets in there. He does not have, I mean, the breakaway. I thought he should have had the Brandon Carlo goal. I felt like he should have been able to fight through. It seemed like he was playing for the tip. He thought there was going to be the tip. There was no tip, and it just beats him straight. Beats him by the blocker. I was kind of shocked by that. I thought he should have had it. Fairly frustrated there, but like there's 2 of the 4 goals tonight that I think you can look at with the goaltender and say, I wish I had those back. The big boys, aside from the Marner goal, they just didn't perform here tonight from an intensity perspective. They didn't feel that dangerous for me at all. I think the second period was a lot better, but then again, in the third period, it was kind of like, well, we're down 4-1. You fucked yourselves in the second period at the end of it there where the Bruins take that lead and it feels like game over then. And then it felt like the players that are capable of scoring goals to be able to close that gap and tie things up or make it close just said, forget it, we're out of here too. Not that they didn't care, they pulled the chute, but it was just like there was no differing level of intensity from the first to the second to the third amongst those guys, and it felt like they couldn't do anything that they wanted. They just kind of got pushed around from a Bruins defensive standpoint. They just said, no, we're not letting you through. We're not letting you do anything. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'll be straight up with you. Liljegren, I think, had another tough night. I don't think Brody played that great. I mean, we'll see what happens here because we're going to see Edmondson likely get into the lineup here very soon. But the Nylander turnover on the breakaway goal too, like so much to me that I just walk away and be like, why? Frustrating. I'm sticking with the C-. I mean, it's vibes for me, C-. I just can't do it. That's going to do it for me for tonight's stream. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Rosie for calling into the show. Thanks to everyone who came to watch what was going on there. I asked Rosie for 15 minutes of his time. So, I mean, I apologize to him for taking as long as we did, but I greatly appreciate him sitting here and chatting with us and kind of giving his thoughts on this game and having that outlet as well. This is a place for everyone to have an outlet as well. If you're watching this right now, if you're watching this back after, you guys, this is a platform for you too, as much as it is for me. I love coming here and talking about games. I love coming here and getting my thoughts out, articulating what happened, trying to recap everything, taking in what you guys are saying in the chat, all of that. We'll continue to do that. But that being said, this is also a platform for fans, right? This is what builds everything up, and we don't get to this point. I don't get to this point myself of being on this channel if it's not for you guys. So I want you involved as much in the chat, super chats, if you want to call into the show, whatever, however you want to do it. You send me a message, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram. Those are the best ways to do it right now. Please send me a message. I want to hear from people. I want to know what you guys are saying. I want to know what you guys think. You call in or you send me a message. I'll send you a link. You guys can call in and we'll get some thoughts on the game. I want to hear from you guys going forward. So that's how it'll work. But that's it for tonight. That's it for tonight's stream. This has been game number... Whoa, sorry, screen changed there on me. This is being game number 63 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, losing to the Boston Bruins here tonight, 4-1. If you want more recaps, you want more trade deadline stuff, right here on this channel tomorrow and across the Nation Network all day, breaking down everything going on around the league. So make sure to hop on over there. Check out all the different channels that we've got going on. Check out tomorrow's show at 3:30 p.m. with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill right back here. Thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. Game number 63 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, losing to the Bruins here tonight, 4-1. Losing now 7 consecutive to the Bruins. Moving to 36, 19, and 8 on the season. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep believing.